Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to the 8th anniversary Gala dinner for Chabad of Old Tappan. At this moment, I'd like to introduce the leader of the Chabad of Old Tappan, Rabbi Manor.
Sarah wakes her husband up in the middle of the night. She says, quickly get out of bed, there's someone pounding on the door downstairs. Go see what's going on. Andrew looks at his watch. He says, you're kidding me, it's 3 o'clock. I'm going back to sleep. She says, no. You're going downstairs, go find out what's going on. Andrew has no choice, he goes downstairs. He opens the front door, and there in the pouring rain is this drunken stranger. He says, can I help you? He says, yes, I need a push. He says, you're kidding me. He closes the door, goes back upstairs. Sarah says, Andrew, what's going on? What was that all about? He says, it's okay, just a drunken guy. He needs a push. I'm going back to sleep. She says, you remember a couple of weeks ago? We broke down. These 2 guys were kind enough to help us. He says, go down and repay the favor. There's no choice. He goes back downstairs. He opens the front door. He looks outside. No one there. He goes out into the rain. He says, hello. Are you there? And he hears, yes, I'm here. He says, do you still need a push? He says, yes, I do. He says, where are you? On the swing. My dear friends, late one evening, some 8 years ago, I drove through the streets of Old Tappan for the very first time. You know how it is when you drive around unfamiliar turf at night? It seems darker than usual, and the lack of street lights definitely did not help. But it wasn't just dark physically. It seemed quite dark spiritually as well. If I had come to this town looking for any kind of signs or signals of Jewish life, I would immediately know that I was lost in a place that our forefather Abraham would have said, I am a stranger in a strange land. And indeed, it was more than once that I was asked if I was lost and if I needed a ride back to Muncie or Brooklyn. So are there any Jews in this town, I thought? And when I posed this question to the few I found, their answer wasn't in any way optimistic or enthusiastic, to say the least. And even those that kindly agreed to have a menorah displayed at the Devora Hall each Hanukkah would not permit to have the candles lit each night. So why did we come here? Because we very much wanted to be part of the Rebbe's vision to provide opportunity to every Jew, regardless of where they may find themselves, and regardless of how many of them find themselves there. And Old Tappan seemed just like the perfect place. So we started knocking on doors and making phone calls. There were a few that answered. There were those who thought of us as some drunkards. And there were those who seemed to just go right back to sleep. But then, day by day, people started to respond. And slowly, our activities began. A holiday service here, a Torah class there, a Hebrew school for a few children, a menorah lighting, a Passover Seder. And before we knew it, with the help of so many of you who came forward to give us a push. Chabad of Old Tappan was in full swing. The darkness that once appeared to fill the air no longer was felt. Indeed, today we even have sidewalks on which to stroll to shul and Shabbos. And during the snowy months, when the sidewalks were covered with snow, we were escorted by the police, who have always been here to support us. Maybe we could pull up a Tenafly one and put up an Arab one day. Friends, indeed today the light and joys of Judaism in Old Tappan is a pillar of pride and true nachas for me and Devora and so many in our lovely community. The more than 30 kids who have learned to read and speak Hebrew at our Hebrew school during the past year, the senior homes visited each week, the hundreds who have a place to pray on Shabbat and holidays, the many homes and businesses which now proudly display a kosher mezuzah, the thousands of men who have put on tefillin, and women who light the Shabbat candles, bringing light to their families and to the entire community, and the numerous other activities that take place each week at Chabad OT. It is only possible because each of you opened your doors and hearts and gave us a most generous push. I'm reminded of a trip our camp went on one summer when I was about 10 or 11 years old to some historical caves outside of London. There we toured the Crystal Quest, an entertaining walk through a dark cave with narrow walkways, terrifying sounds, and all kinds of crazy images, which most of the kids seemed to love. I and a few of my friends were given lanterns to help lead the way. As the group leader and the rest of the children moved quickly through the dark cave, shouting and laughing, there was a boy who had difficulty walking due to an illness he suffered as a young child. He fell behind and became filled with fear. I tried to reassure him as he grabbed hold of my arm and made the long and difficult steps till we safely reached the other side. Tonight, we celebrate 8 years of incredible growth and achievement. Tonight, we say thank you to our dear honorees, David and Cheryl, Rafi and Beth, and Helene. To our chairman, Eddie and Todd, to Joseph and Mitra Imrani, and the staff at the Old Tappan Manor, to our incredible administrative assistant, Maritza Estrin, who recently joined our team, and to each and every one of you for being that lantern and support, financially and in so many other important ways, helping us reach our goal despite the sometimes teetering steps along the way. It is with your help that we have reached this incredible milestone, and it is with your help that we will continue to grow stronger in preparing the world around us for the era of Mashiach, a time when the world will be filled with goodness, kindness, love, and friendship. From the depths of our hearts, we thank the Almighty God for His infinite blessings, and we thank each of you for your kindness, support, friendship, and dedication. And together, we look forward to continuing the efforts of Chabad of Old Tappan in building an even stronger Judaism for our children, grandchildren, and forever. Thank you.
Good evening. I join my husband in thanking all of you for your generous support and friendship. When I moved to Old Tappan Tappan with my husband and 3 children 8 short years ago, I knew that I would face some challenges. But what frightened me most of all was the thought of leaving my parents so far behind. I grew up in a very tight-knit family, and the notion that my children would grow up seldom seeing their grandparents terrified me. Well, I was in for a pleasant surprise. Shortly after our move, our family was introduced to the caring staff and the seniors at the Buckingham at Norwood and the Jewish home. And although no one can be a substitute for your parents, the seniors at those 2 wonderful homes became my children's adopted grandparents. So much so that when there is a school vacation or a Jewish holiday, our family's vacation hotspots are just a hop, skip, and a jump away. Hanukkah, Rosh Hashanah, Sukkot, Passover just wouldn't be the same without a stop to see our senior friends. You can feel it from the moment you walk through those sliding doors. Exceptional warmth. You can see it in the genuine smiles of the seniors. You can hear it in the melodious sounds of the piano playing echoing through the hallways. You know that you are somewhere special. You know you are at the Buckingham. But what makes the Buckingham so unique is Helene Ladani. Not only is Helene the beloved, efficient, hard-working administrator at the Buckingham, she is a wonderful friend and supporter of Chabad of Old Tappan and so many other Jewish causes and organizations. In fact, in 2009, when we had no venue to host our Rosh Hashanah services, Helene helped arrange services in a marquee in the Buckingham parking lot. Helene, you are so lucky to have the wonderful staff and the residents at the Buckingham, but more importantly, they are so lucky to have you.